and welcome to the Season 1 finale of Chicago Style Eats, the show where we talk about and sample tasty foods invented in Chicago. I'm Tony.
And I'm Stephanie. And in this episode, we will recap a few loose ends from earlier in the season, share our top 5 and bottom 5 of the 30 hometown bites we explored, and the top 5 episodes based on YouTube views.
As you may recall, in episode 24, The Mother-in-Law, we were unable to find a true mother-in-law sandwich. When we arrived at Fat Johnny's famous Red Hots at midday on a Saturday, they were closed. We managed to find a mother-in-law a few miles down the road, but it did not have the boatload of condiments as listed in the book, so we felt we had not done the mother-in-law proper justice.
Then a few weeks after the episode aired, a YouTube viewer, Bob's Cards, shared in the comments that the inventor of the mother-in-law and the owner of Fat Johnny's famous Red Hots, John Pawlikowski, had passed away in January of this year, months before our episode aired. Chicago Style Eats extends our condolences to the family of John Pawlikowski and hope that his legacy carries on in the mother-in-law for many decades to come.
This week, we did a search for the mother-in-law and found it at The Hat, a Chicago street foods stand at the corner of North and Ashland Avenues in Chicago's Bucktown neighborhood. And it was pretty much the same as the first one we found. We even asked for the full complement of condiments, all the hot dog ingredients. The Hat only offers chili, well, obviously the tamale, chili, chopped onions, and tomato.
And sport peppers. As their standard for the mother-in-law.
And we asked for relish and a pickle, and
didn't get it.
They said they'd give it to us, but they didn't. So it was basically the same, and I think we have the same opinion of it. It had a good flavor, but it's just mush in your mouth. And this one was a little spicier. Yeah, the chili was good. It was a little spicier.
It was a little spicy. It had actual beans in it, whereas the chili at that other place was just the meat and some chili sauce.
Yeah. So that was the anticlimactic end to the mother-in-law. Through the 30-plus episodes of Chicago Style Eats Season 1, we discovered some new favorites, had a few real surprises, and some definite no's. Stephanie, the more particular eater between us,
Tony is a goat, I'm just picky,
has compiled a list of her least favorite Chicago-style foods that we sampled.
Yeah, so my absolute least favorite one would be the corn roll tamale, just because it was just mush. And it's not even like a tamale where it has masa, and I think it had fake meat inside. I don't have them in order of what's worse than the other, but that was my absolute worst one. Then the rest of them, I would say Italian beef. Yes, I know, that's horrible. I live in Chicago. The whole Chicago world is going to hate me, but too bad. I just don't like beef, and that smelled very beefy, and it literally gagged me. I also didn't like the jibarito. It was just plain. And then, of course, since I don't like the the corn roll tamale, I also would not like the mother-in-law because it's just adding stuff to that mush. Pepper and eggs was just kind of boring. And finally, taffy grapes. You know, just don't do this stuff to the grape, just eat the grape. It's much better. You don't need to go through the time to do that. Just a waste of time. Just eat the grapes.
And so Stephanie lists her 5 with 6.
Well, the two kind of go hand in hand.
And go.
Tony the Goat has eaten his way through Season 1, even suffered through the pepper and anything that had peppers in it. He was a good sport on that. And he came up with a list of his top 5 favorite Chicago Style Eats. Mine was the worst. His are his favorites.
At number 5, Chicago Style egg rolls. They capture the flavors of the traditional foods they emulate, like the Italian beef egg roll. But what I really love is the culture mesh pulled off in these eats. Whatever cuisine you're in the mood for today, all wrapped up in the clean, tidy, portable Chinese egg roll.
And I will say it was very interesting to learn that they use peanut butter to hold the thing that's the shell to the egg roll.
Number 4, the breaded steak sandwich. Steak pounded flat, battered and breaded, deep fried, bathed in Italian tomato gravy, draped with mozzarella cheese, and folded into a hearty French roll. A bit messy, but tons of flavor.
Because he likes beef.
Number 3, rib tips. Once the scraps that butchers threw away, these delectable morsels put the Lemons brothers on the Chicago food map. But almost as delicious is the family story. A man born into slavery, taught by his mother how to cook, passing that knowledge to his sons, who later moved from Mississippi to Chicago, bringing that delicious seasoning recipe with them, and passing that legacy on to the next generation.
Great story.
Number 2, the bone-in pork chop sandwich. A flavor so rich, it's hard to believe its simplicity. A marinated pork chop on the bone, on a soft hamburger bun, buried under grilled onions and a hefty glop of yellow mustard. Heaven. Provided that you find the bone before your first bite. And number 1, and Stephanie is with me on this one, the gym shoe. Our biggest surprise, a nightmare conglomeration of roast beef, corned beef, and gyros meat, all chopped together and served on a submarine roll with mayo, cheese, tomatoes, lettuce, onions, tzatziki sauce, and jardiniere, explodes on your taste buds in an inconceivably rich and complex flavor.
So, finally, our viewer favorites. While we hope that you all went out to sample any and many of these tastes that you hadn't before, we can only go on how many views each episode got to gauge interest in an item. Maybe we just used good thumbnails? Anywho, as of the day we recorded this episode, the top 5 viewer favorite videos, tongue twister, are: number 5, episode 4, the breaded steak sandwich with 1,148 views. Number 4, episode 20, the gym shoe with 1,369 views. Number 3, episode 16, gyros with 1,450 views. Number 2, episode 11, depression dog with 1,563 views. And the top episode, number 1, with 2,832 views, was episode 22, the Maxwell Street Polish sausage sandwich. Well, that wraps up Chicago Style Eats Season 1. We hope you'll join us for Season 2. Hit the subscribe button to receive notifications when new episodes drop.
We know that compared to a lot of videos on YouTube to watch, our viewer numbers are barely a drop in the bucket. But at least 3,000 of you have chosen to spend just a little time with us, taking an extra second to click the thumbs up button, or taking a few extra minutes to leave us a comment. While the world certainly wouldn't call us influencers, we certainly hope we have informed you and even possibly entertained you. Thanks for watching. Coming up in Season 2 of Chicago Style Eats.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, that's
I couldn't figure it out.
Get that out of there.
That
And then
makes
the cheese.
sense now.
For you, they're very.
It's such a different environment. It's like something that I didn't realize. Just like when you get here, people looking around and they're like,
This is what half-pounder pizzas look like.
If you like this episode, click the thumbs up icon below. Don't like it? Let us know in the comments what might make it better. Want to see more Chicago Style Eats? Click the subscribe button below so you can get an alert each time we drop a new episode. Don't know what the heck we're doing? Click on the end screen or the link in the description below to see our intro video. Thanks for watching.